So today I'm going to go over one real nice, easy and simple use of the lens ball at home from start to finish, and guess what? None or very little editing is involved. Let's polish your balls and let's go. Greetings all, and yeah, this is not really the start to my new year that I actually wanted, but unfortunately some things beyond my control made me have to do a few bits and pieces at home. Not a major problem because I had got a whole list of things that I wanted to do, so just give me a chance to get on with it. But this one is going to include your lens ball, and I'm going to say this is probably the easiest use of the lens ball you're going to be able to do because it's so simple and forgiving, it's unreal. Right, so the first thing we're obviously going to do is we need to jump into your text editor. You can use Word, just normal notepad, whatever it is that you want, and you're basically just going to fill the whole entire page with just random letters. Try to keep them all lowercase. Explain the reasons why a bit later on, and yeah, just fill that page. Once you've filled the page, we are going to have a small section within the page itself where we're going to write a small bit of text. You're going to need to try and keep it small because you're going to try and focus on this through the ball, and if it's too long you're going to miss some of it. If it's too high, same again, you're going to miss some of it. So try to keep it pretty small and within the center of the page. You can put these in capitals, into a bold font, just to help it stand out that little bit more. Not necessarily, because once you focus on those letters within the ball, it stands out anyway, but you might want to do that just to help out that little bit. Right, camera settings. This is just so forgiving, it's pretty much unreal, to be honest with you. So we're going to actually go into aperture priority mode, and even though when you're looking through the ball it's going to blur around the outside, you're going to want to blur everything else as much as possible that's not in the actual shot itself. So we're going to go into aperture priority, crank it down as much as you can. I say as much as you can. I mean, when you start going to, like, you know, your twos and stuff, probably a bit of an overkill. So you want to look at probably around about 3.5, around that sort of bit, 3.5, 4.5, something like this. Shutter speed, try and keep it as high as you possibly can. So you might need to increase that ISO a little bit. A lot of that's all going to depend on the lighting around you. You want to try and keep it above 40. Sorry, 40, a 40th of a second, sorry. But yeah, keep it above that and you're going to be okay. So where are you going to take this photo? Well, do you know what? I've said it is so forgiving, it's unbelievable, because the whole look of the shot changes a lot with light around you, but it doesn't matter too much of whether you've got a lot of light or not a lot of light, because you're actually close enough to the ball that you're actually focusing on the lettering. So, you know, lighting's not really that important. Obviously lighting, you know, when it's dark, because you ain't going to get absolutely jack, but you know, you are going to not worry too much about the lighting. However, one of the things that you can do to change the look or the feel is you can change the background lighting. You can put LED light shining in, you can put a bit of a candle there that will change the light altogether, or different coloured lighting, and it just changes how the shot actually looks. All down to your own preference, just have a play. Took the shots, and we're going to go a bit of editing with this one, but I'm going to be truthful with you, is you don't need to actually edit this. But the reason we're going to is it's just to go over a couple of things to look out for, and you might want to try to just make the ball itself pop a little bit. So we're probably going to use a few features within Lightroom just to bring things out just a little bit. But I'm going to be honest with you, you don't actually need to, because it just looks quite effective on its own. But let's hop into Lightroom and just go over a couple of bits. Oh, so here we are in Lightroom. Now this is really going to be quick because there's not really a lot of editing really that you need to do. Probably just a little bit of cropping and making the black blacks and the whites whites. But I don't want to just hit and turn it into just black and white. And that's purely because there is some colours there that I want to keep, which is obviously a few of the light bits on the back and so on. So I'm not just going to whack it into black and white. So the first thing we're going to do very, very quickly is we're going to crop this. I don't want that bottom part on. I just don't like the look of it. I'm going to bring it in from the sides, and this is a bit of a personal preference because I just want to try and remove, for me, as much of the paper as possible. Though on the top, I'm not going to go all the way down. I'm going to leave just a little bit of the paper. That's just going to give a little bit of a feeling of depth and that it is a piece of paper. You can actually crop the whole thing out. You can actually leave the whole thing in, personal choice. So once we've cropped now, we're going to use a mask on this because a lot of the editing and that I'm going to need to do is going to be actually on the ball itself. Lightroom is really good. You can select that ball and it will put the mask in for you. My personal preference is I like to do the mask myself, and the reason being is because when Lightroom actually does the mask, it's literally to the edge, and when you make adjustments, they don't seem to be very subtle when it comes from like the background to the subject itself. It tends to leave a little bit of ghost in, and I don't know, I prefer to do it manually so it can actually feather. So that's one of the things that we're first going to do, which is with the brush, is select the outside of the mask. And the thing is as well is that any edits that you do to your work is all going to be personal preference. When you, even more so when you're doing something like this, which is, you know, what is it that you want to pop out? What is it that you want to do? It's all going to be a personal preference and your style. Right, so we've got that mask in place. The first thing that I'm going to do is just bring up that exposure, not too much, literally just a small amount. Same with the contrast, and bring up the highlights, drop the shadows, just to make it a little bit darker on that side. Increase the whites just a little bit, and drop the blacks. Now the texture on this, I really want that texture to be very, I'm going to say grainy almost. So I am literally going to crank it up. And basically that's going to just pop it out that little tiny bit more. And the same with the clarity. Don't want to do too much with the clarity because it just ends up looking, I don't know, weird. So literally just a small amount. And we're done. We're done for that bit for now. I'm then going to, because when you look at it and you see it, there's the whites aren't quite white and everything, and I want to sort of give it a bit of a cool feeling, so I'm just literally going to drop that temperature down, literally just a really small amount, and so you can see the difference. Just literally just a very, very small amount that I want to drop it down. Contrast, I'm going to bring up on all of it. I'm not going to touch anything else other than the vibrance. I'm going to bring that down, and yeah, I think we're going to leave that as it is. So we're going to come down to the sharpening, and the thing that you want to do with the sharpening is you don't want to sharpen the whole thing. And I think I've mentioned this before on on a photo shoot that I've done before with editing is that a lot of people just tend to just crank that sharpness right up, and but the thing is, it sharpens a whole picture, and this is where you increase graininess and noise. Just don't. So basically, what you're going to want to do is hold down your Alt key, you hit the masking, and you just keep going until you've got the outline of what it is that you want to sharpen, and then crank up that sharpening. So you're literally just sharpening the outline of the parts of the image. So whatever was on that mask that you saw is basically what you're going to sharpen. Noise reduction, yep, you're probably going to get quite a bit. If you do, there we go, little slider on Lightroom, pretty much gone, boom, and that's pretty much it. Going to add a little bit of vignette to the outside, and that is it. But it's like I say, is you don't need to really do much editing to this before, after, but like I say, is if you're looking on the left, it's not quite white and black, as where on the right hand side it's white and black, but I haven't just hit that black and white part, because see, hit just about on here, we've still got that little bit of colour, and I like it. And it is so simple to do with your lens ball. And a couple of things obviously to be careful of, which I have already mentioned, but I'm going to go through them again, is the wording when you print it out, try and keep it small, because you will struggle to get it all in. When you go to focus, you're going to start to get too much of blur on the outside. A little bit ain't too bad, but you get it too much and you can't read the whole thing. And be careful of where the lighting's coming from, purely because the light's going to hit the ball and it's going to start putting, white glints and stuff where you don't actually want them to be. If you can get them onto the outside of the ball and stuff, perfect, adds to the effect, but it's just something to be careful about. Editing side, like I say, you actually don't need to really do any editing on that one. The only reason I did was to just get the blacks to black, the whites to white, but without just flipping it onto just a black and white image. And yeah, you just got to try to make the words pop. And yeah, it's just so simple. Love it. And yeah, I hope you follow along and have a go and enjoy it. But before I do go, just want to apologise that there's been a bit of a gap between photographs from last year and this one, and just a very quickie at the end of this is I haven't been very well. I was taken to hospital with a blood clots on the lungs, basically, a pulmonary embolism, I think they call it, and yeah, let's just say it was pretty much struggle getting out of bed and stuff like this, but on the mend, medication's working. Still got to take it easy for a bit, but nothing's going to keep me down. But it's just to show that with doing this sort of thing, is that you can do photography at home, and so if it's a hobby, you can still do your hobby at home, and you don't have to go out. And to be fair, I've actually enjoyed playing around with quite a few bits actually at home for the past few days, and which is actually doing some of the things that I'd been planning to do but I was going out more, and of course I've just been put on the back burner. So it's giving me a chance to have a go at a few of them, which I'll get around to on a rainy day maybe, of showing you all that one, and trying to do a few other things as well, of showing you the editing side of things as well as the photography side of things, because when you actually watch a lot of professionals and stuff like this doing the photos, they may show you out on the field of taking the photos and settings, but they don't show you the other bit at home of where they do the post work. And to be fair, the post work that you do at home is the part that, as we just showed, it's making something pop, giving that extra little tweak. So you're looking at the final product, but you haven't seen the whole thing, and yeah, it's good sometimes to actually see the editing. So I'm going to try to incorporate that in a lot more of the videos and stuff as well. So without boring you anymore, and yeah, thanks for joining me on that one, guys. Have a go, leave a comment below, and yeah, don't forget to show me your work. Oh, actually, yes, because before I do go, like I say about following along and stuff like this, is a while ago I did you know, colour, black and white with a bit of colour photos. If I can find the video, I'll leave a link above. And a good friend of mine, John, Mr. Lensman Online, I've linked to his channel many times. I'll leave that below or above as well. Sent me the image that he'd actually done of that, and I'm going to put it up on screen. And I just think for John criticises his work quite a lot, and you know, he's really a good photographer, and I'm going to explain the reasons why I really like this one. Is he explained to me of how the image came about, and it was one of their trips out that he does. And obviously, he was on a bit of a zoom lens. It was quite a distance away. It was quite dark, and considering that the ISO was ramped up quite a bit, and there's noise and stuff there. But the thing for me is, I just think it just adds to this photo, and it just adds to the depth. Cheers for that, John. That's yeah, real good attempt, mate. I absolutely like it, really do. But anyway, we're waffling, and I need a cup of tea. So yeah, so don't forget, give us that thumbs up, subscribe if you ain't already, and I'll see you on the next either adventure, tutorial, or one of the many things that I'm probably going to be doing. So stay safe, guys. Take care. See you soon.